love the energy, the enthusiasm. Hollywood!
This is Utah Tech football and the Lance Anderson Coaches Show.
A lot of good work. I'm really proud of you guys.
And hi there once again, everybody. Welcome to Lance Anderson Coaches Show. Rod Zundel here, along with the head football coach for Utah Tech, Lance Anderson. Trailblazers coming off their second consecutive 7-point loss to a nationally ranked team in Flagstaff on Saturday, 38-31 to Northern Arizona. Now they get ready to take on the University of Idaho, the Vandals. They're ranked as high as 5th in the country in the rankings. Coach, what a way to start your first 3 games this year against top 20 teams.
Oh, we're definitely tested early on. It doesn't get any easier. These are good football teams, but it's a great measure of where we are and where we want to get to. And we're making progress. We're showing that we can be competitive. Now we just got to understand how to finish these games.
2 top 20 teams you've played already. You had a chance to win both of those games. Just like we mentioned last week, you had a chance, just couldn't get over the hump. This week, fell behind, came back, made a great second half run, and came up 7 points short again. So just talk about where you're at after the first 2 games and how comfortable are you with the progress. You know, take away the wins and losses, of course, that's what it counts. But
yeah, I'm definitely happy with the progress we've made as a program. We are much more competitive. I think our players truly realize now that, hey, we can play with these teams on our schedule and we can beat these teams. What we need to do is just be more consistent in all phases and learn to finish games.
when you watched both of these games last year and the offseason, you needed to get bigger, stronger, faster, like everybody does, because you got pushed around a little bit off the ball a year ago. This year, you're not getting pushed around. You're doing the pushing. So just talk about the progression of that and how satisfied you are with where you're at compared to where you were a year ago.
We're definitely making progress. You start with the offensive side of the ball. I think we've been very sound in our pass protection so far. We're making progress running the football. Again, we're starting to move people off the ball. We need to continue to get better with that. And defensively, we're much more stout. We're not getting knocked off the ball. We're more athletic. We're tackling better. So we still have a ways to go,
Sure.
but we've definitely improved from last season.
The big guys up front don't get a lot of publicity, but let's give a little shout out to that offensive line. Tied for 6th in the country in FCS in sacks allowed, only 1 sack given up in 2 games.
Yeah, they've been very sound in protection, doing a really good job there. Like I mentioned, I think we're getting better running the football. You look at that second half against NAU, and one of the things that allowed us to get back into the game was our ability to run the football in that second half.
And Coach, at one point you had 3 true freshmen, or 3 freshmen out on that offensive line.
Yeah, so if we can keep these guys here, I think we got really something to build on, and these guys are just going to get better and better as they get more reps and more experience. And we've seen that progression already as we've gone from spring ball through fall camp, that group is playing better together, and their best football still ahead of them.
All right, as we take a look at the highlights, just like you did in the opener against UC Davis, got off to a great start. Bronson Barban got the start at quarterback and went to Caden Eggett again for another big game.
Yeah, Caden's had a couple big plays and some big catches, converted some third downs for us in these first 2 games.
Interception at the goal line stopped that drive, but the first possession for them, you got an interception, and then Bronson came back, and Daniel Thomason got in the act, got going a little bit with that touchdown.
Yeah, that was a great takeaway by the defense, and the offense immediately converted it to a touchdown. So it was a great start. Now we're just looking for that consistency throughout the game.
You're down 21 in the third, then Reggie Graff came in and played the rest of the way at quarterback, hit Thomason again, and then the running game really got going. That offensive line put up some holes.
Oh, they certainly did, and Reggie gave us a spark as he came in the game, and I think our running game really helped us. And Reggie made a few key throws as well in that second half.
Yeah, now Asa Chapman, he really, a human pinball right there. He ran hard in that second half.
He did. Ace is very talented. I think he's got a great career here ahead of him, and he made some big runs for us in that second half. He also catches the ball well out of the backfield. We just need to get a little bit better blocking on the perimeter, but boy, he can make some plays with the ball in his hands.
It looked like he was in a groove, and he could see the holes a lot better than what we saw in the first game for everybody.
Yeah, I think, he's still a redshirt freshman. He's still got some really good football ahead of him.
And then Reggie takes it in for a touchdown, his second of the day.
Yeah, again, Reggie's legs are definitely something the defense has to account for.
This is in the fourth quarter, 4th and 6. And you're still in this game, and Reggie takes off and gets the first down and a penalty to add another 15.
Yeah, that was huge to keep that drive going, and allowed us to convert and make it a one-score game.
Offensive line, big hole, and Asa just kind of stutter-stepped and bang, he was in for the touchdown. His first touchdown in a Trailblazer uniform.
Yeah, hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, Asa Chapman got the running game going. Bretton Stone came in and, did a good job for you along with Reggie. When you look at the numbers, Reggie led the way with 74 yards rushing. You had 158 total yards rushing. That's 5.1 yards per carry. You'll take that number, right?
We certainly will, especially against a good team like NAU.
You outscored NAU 21-7 in the second half. And once again, you're perfect in the red zone, Coach, 3 for 3. So when you get there, you guys execute well and are very efficient.
Yeah, we got to keep that going. That's important. Red zone defense on both sides of the ball again, red zone defense and third downs, those are big things that determine the outcome of games.
Third down's not where you want it to be compared to the week before, 5 for 14 on third down, and you had 3 interceptions. So those are the 2 numbers that didn't go your way. You've got to win that turnover battle, obviously. And again, the turnovers, interceptions, just guys trying to make plays and trying to fit the ball in there. It wasn't really anything other than just trying to do something.
Exactly. I think at this point, maybe, our quarterbacks may be trying to do a little bit too much, like you said, fit the ball in there rather than just, stay with their reads, be consistent with that. Because we do have to cut down those turnovers. That's a big thing, the big challenge for us offensively this week is to, ball security and cut down the turnovers.
Talking with offensive coordinator Greg Stevens after the opener, talking to him about the balance off passing versus rushing. He goes, well, we kind of consider some of those RPOs, run pass options, as run plays. They just allowed us to pass more than run. But this week, with that pressurizing defense from NAU, you were able to run the ball more on that RPO. You gave it to the running backs this time.
Yeah, especially in the second half. And that really helped us get back into that football game.
Yeah. Okay, so defensively. Well, before we move to defense, offensive line, we mentioned they're tied for 6th, and then also your special teams. You got to give a shout out to them because Ilya Uvedov, perfect from field goal range and PATs. You had 3 punt returns for 23 yards, and you had held NAU to only 1 return in the punt game for 5 yards. So both sides of the punt team doing very well.
Yeah, I think that's just another area that you see the improvement we've made from year 1 to year 2, where we're getting better production on special teams. We're a little bit more aggressive. We had the block against UC Davis, the blocked field goal, and then just the things you mentioned. The 18-yard punt return by Shamar Garrett set us up with good field position, and a 47-yard field goal by Ilya. I mean, we're making some big plays in special teams, and we need to continue to build on that.
All right, your defense gave up 162 yards rushing, only 4 yards per carry, and they also had 2 more sacks. That's 8 sacks in 2 games. That's good for a tie for 2nd in the country in FCS. So when you just look at those numbers, you're saying, okay, we're on the right path. We are a defense that is doing the pushing.
Yeah, we're definitely on the right track there. We can still improve our rush defense, but in the games that NAU wins over the last year, they were averaging 223 yards per game rushing. So we held them under that average, which is progress. We've been able to create some pressure on the quarterback. We probably didn't do enough of that in the first half, but that's been a key so far. When we can pressure the quarterback, we have success. So.
And as we take a look at the highlights, you talk about pressuring the quarterback. Their first drive, look at Moon Ashby, number 25, just bull rush his way in for a tip pass, and then Justin Houston picks up his first interception and Trailblazer.
Yeah, we know that tips and overthrows, those are the things that lead to interceptions, and that's just a great pass rush by Moon, getting to the quarterback, hitting him, tipping that ball, and that leads directly to the interception.
You guys have been good in the first 2 games on 4th and short. You stuffed them there on 4th and 2.
Yeah, this coming out early in the third quarter, this kind of set the tempo for the second half where we're able to get that 4th down stop, which is just like a turnover. And that gave us a lot of momentum at that point.
Dallin Havea, BYU transfer, his 3rd sack in 2 games, and he loves to go after the ankles.
Oh, I mean, Dallin's just a solid tackler, and it's been great to see all that production he's had with those sacks early in the season, and we need to keep that going.
And look at the swarming defense. You got to love that as a defensive guy.
Yeah, guys are playing hard. They're swarming to the football. We're a little more sound tackling, but it's great to see, hey, when we do miss a tackle, we got guys running to make that play.
And how quick was that play from Will Oliveo coming from the other side?
Yeah.
And tracking him down
Yeah,
from behind.
Will's another guy that's off to a great start for us. Really good football player, plays hard, loves competing.
And then again, Ty Pennington, very good quarterback. And second half, you bottled him up.
Yeah, definitely. We played more solid in the second half, and he is a good football player.
And Rivermore, the redshirt freshman from Lehigh High School, his first sack of his Trailblazer career.
Yeah, that was a big one right there because that was another third down stop that allowed us to get the football back.
Okay, so when you look at it, a lot of things that you've done right in the first 2 games, including Northern Arizona. Again, is it going back to we just got to not have those long lapses because you got off to a great start, then for the next quarter and a half, kind of just running in mud, it seemed like?
Yeah, the first 2 games, we've played really well at times in both those games. We just need that from start to finish. We need that consistency. So offense, we just need to keep moving the ball, eliminate the turnovers. Defensively, we just need more consistency. We can't give up the explosive plays, and we need to get off the field on third downs.
And do your players sense that hey, they have made so much of an improvement just in, since spring ball even, and that great things are on the horizon if they just keep at it? Do they sense that?
I think they really do. I really believe that they do, and I think the second half of the NAU game was an indication of that. It would have been very easy to just give up, when you're down 21 points at halftime. But those guys fought back as a team, played complementary football. We've got the ball at the end of the game with a chance to go down and score to either tie or win the football game. So I believe our guys do understand that we can play with these teams on our schedule. Now it's just getting over that hump and learning to win these games.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. When we come back, a couple of guys who had a big impact Saturday in Flagstaff.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine. Why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
Looks left, ball tipped, intercepted by Justin Houston at the 10-yard line. Barban to throw, here comes the pressure, into the end zone, caught, touchdown, Daniel Thomason, 9 yards from Bronson Barban, and the Trailblazers strike first. Grab, pump fake, caught, 32-yard line, Daniel Thomason. Cuts it up, there goes Reggie, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Reggie Graff. Around the right side, Graff to the pylon, touchdown, Reggie Graff, 8-yard run. And the Trailblazers get themselves back into this thing. The handoff to Chapman, he breaks through, Asa Chapman, touchdown. How about that? First touchdown of his Trailblazer career. And just some of the sights and sounds in Flagstaff, Arizona, Saturday afternoon. Rod Zundel here with the head coach, Lance Anderson, and joining us now, running back Asa Chapman, that you just saw. Got his first career touchdown in a Trailblazer uniform. And linebacker Dallin Havea, the BYU transfer. Gentlemen, welcome. It's both of your debut edition here on the Lance Anderson Coaches Show.
Sir, thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
All right, so let's talk to you first, Asa, about your first career touchdown. Offensive line, they've really stepped up, and then you've been able to find the holes, and you've been patient in your running game, especially in that second half.
Yeah, I was just trying to trust my coaches, trust the technique that they showed me, and just trust my guys up there that they're going to cover them up and just give me space to do what I came here to do.
Last year, as a true freshman, you played 4 games. They didn't want to waste a year of eligibility. I'm sure that had to be frustrating for you because you wanted to get out, but now you're reaping the benefits of sitting out last year and now going after it.
Yeah, I mean, of course you want to go out there and play with your brothers, but I'm glad to be able to sit behind them and watch and learn more about the game, because coming in as a freshman, you do have a lot to learn, and you don't realize that at first.
Here comes the touchdown run.
Yeah.
You paused just a second, and boom.
Well,
what were you thinking when nobody was around you there?
I'm really just thinking, thank you, God, and hopefully we can go out and get this ball back so we can go win this game. That's my first thought right there.
All right, Asa Chapman, running back. I've got to ask you, though, on that one run we saw where you bounced off your own guy, the human pinball, and you were able to keep your feet.
Yeah, man, that was – Talik's out there blocking for me, man. that guy's coming at me full speed. I had to make a cut. Unfortunately, I ended up hitting him, but I stayed up and just tried to get back upfield and help the team get the first down.
He didn't move when you hit him.
Nah.
You're the one that did the moving backwards.
Hey, he's a tank. He's a tank, man. He didn't even see me, and he stood his ground, so that's kudos to him for sure.
Dallin Havea, a BYU transfer linebacker. You are now tied for third in the country in sacks, 3 in 2 games. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, you are,
That's
so there
awesome
you
to
go.
know.
So just talk about coming in here as the new guy, and he brought you in for this reason, and you were able to show what you can do, and you're being successful. Just talk about how everything has transpired now.
Yeah, honestly, I just came here with the mindset to just live where I stand, and that was the mentality coming in, and I knew. So I just had a lot of work ahead of me, and was willing to put in that work. And it's been great to be able to see the results coming throughout the season just in this short time, and hopefully we can be able to see much more coming.
What is it about you going after the ankles, just like a little nipped dog, going after the ankles? They can't get away from you.
No, that's the easiest way. They won't fall,
You got a couple sacks that way with a one-arm slap on the ankles.
Yeah, hopefully one of these days can get them head up and maybe get a strip sack one of these days.
I remember in fall camp when I was talking with you, and I said, what is it about your game? You said a run stopper. Are you taking pride in the fact that, you are the run stopper and one of the run stoppers on this defense now?
I'm just happy to be able to pitch in my part as a player on this team and hold the edge for the boys and have the boys in the middle be able to do their part. And we all just pitch into one great effort to be able to stop the run. So
yeah, Coach, he wants to be a run stopper. You want him to be a run stopper. That's why you brought him in. Just talk about what impressed you about Dallin Havea and what he's doing right now.
Dallin is a really strong physical kid. Like he said, he's done a great job setting edges for us in the run game. It's hard to move him, and that's helped improve our run defense. And we knew that was a big focus this year, is that we had to get better at stopping the run. And so far, we're showing that improvement. We still need to get better, but he's been a big part of that. And it's been great what he's given us pass rush-wise as well with those 3. Could have been maybe even 4 sacks already this year.
Yeah. Asa Chapman, how difficult it was for you as a coach knowing that he had the talent and a playmaker ability to not give him more than 4 games last year?
Those were a lot of discussions that we had last year of like, okay, do we play Asa more? Do we get him on special teams? Do we try to scheme some ways to get him some touches? Or do we just keep him in those 4 games? And kind of like Asa explained, there is a lot of learning that goes on as a freshman. And I think he's really benefited from that redshirt year, and then having a good spring practice, a good fall camp. And he's put himself in position to be a very productive player for us.
And speaking of taking that year last year as a learning experience, Asa, expand a little bit more on that. Do you feel like you are a better running back now because you took that year last year to learn?
Of course, because honestly, like when you first get here, you're just trying to play fast, but you don't really know the technicalities of what you're supposed to do, knowing your reads and knowing who's unblocked on plays. So now that I can play fast and know those things, it just gives me a better advantage going into the game and going into plays.
And you as a new guy, was there any difficulty in learning a new system or getting acquainted with the coaching staff, their style, and also the players around you, Dallin Havea?
Yeah, it was definitely different. At BYU, we ran a 4-3. Over here, we ran a 3-4. And there's obviously differences, but we have a great coaching staff on the defense. Coach Moynihan, he knows the defense in and out, and he gives it to us, gives us the information so we can be able to learn it and have a great position coach and Coach Vaitata, and he's being able to help us all in our position group to learn everything. So it's been great. And then just as a getting used to the teammates that I have here, they're all great guys. Yeah. They're all trying their best. You can tell that they all have the mentality to want to go out there and win, and we're all just learning that together. So it's been great just to see the process of all of us growing together.
And Dallin, on the defensive end, you've had some great mentors. Kalani Sitake, a defensive guy. Jay Hill, your defensive coordinator, kind of cerebral kind of guy, but will get after it. Patrick Moynihan, kind of cerebral, got the bucket hat, glasses on, but on the field, man, he's a go-getter. And then you got this guy that's got Power 5 defensive coordinator experience. Those are some pretty good mentors to build your football career.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot of my time at BYU, and it's been great to be able to bring the principles of success that I was able to learn there. We had a successful season, and bring it here to be able to pitch in my part and see results as a team and winning games. And when I came here, I already knew about Coach Anderson. I knew of his success he's had as a coach in Stanford and his previous schools. And so I know that we just have great potential, and I just want to be able to pitch in the knowledge that I have from the people that I've learned from.
So he wasn't the defensive coordinator when you were in high school, right? He was out. Was he still? Were you at Stanford when he was?
Yeah.
How come you didn't steal him? You stole every other good Utah player.
I went to Provo High, and I visited Dallin. I waited for him to get out of seminary one day, to come over to the school and meet
Really?
me. So, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
And you didn't take him to Stanford because you took a lot of Utah guys, and that's one thing that had to make you feel more comfortable because you had a prior experience with him.
Yeah, I was just a really big BYU fan growing up, and whenever coaches would come, I got pushed them to the side. But my parents definitely, when I told them about Coach Anderson, they said, "Oh wow, like Stanford." My mom's an education person. It's like, that's a prestigious school. My pops heard about the success they've been having. So when Coach Anderson came by, we definitely were kind of tempted. But I just always grew up a BYU fan. Knew I wanted to go there, and so. But it's awesome. I feel God really leads us to where we need to be, and it's awesome to be here with Coach Anderson reunited again.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Obviously, he repented and came to you, right?
That's exactly right. It's all worked out in the end. We're both in the right place now.
Okay, now I have to ask, when you sat outside seminary waiting for him to come out, did you feel like you were in an ambush, or did you feel like you got ambushed? And, there's Coach Anderson.
It was cool to be able to meet Coach Anderson. He came with my head coach, and it was just a great opportunity. Yeah.
Asa Chapman, how did you make your way to Utah Tech? Because obviously you weren't from Utah. He didn't try to steal you away from those people.
Yeah, well, Coach Clark, he's been heavy on me from the jump from my junior year. They offered me my junior year, then I went into my senior year, got hurt, lost a couple of other opportunities, but he stayed consistent. And I really appreciate the love that he showed me, and then I really appreciate Coach Anderson for valuing that offer that I had once he came over here, and I'm set for it at Utah Tech right now, and I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to be here.
You said you got hurt. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh man, this is going to ruin my college experience. But like you said, sometimes things happen for a reason.
Of course.
And here's where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Things happen for a reason, for sure. And I thank God that I still had the opportunity, because I know some people wish that they were able to be here right now. So I'm just thankful for that, and I'm going to take every advantage that I can.
And Coach, you talk about leaders on this team, whether they're underclassmen or juniors and seniors. But everybody we brought in, you can tell that they have their own leadership capability in them, even though they are not considered the team leaders.
Well, especially these two young men right here, even though they're both redshirt freshmen, they're already looked at as leaders on our team. And they're great motivators. They're guys that do things right. They're great examples to the other guys, and we expect them, even as redshirt freshmen, to have that leadership role, and they've both embraced that and done a good job with that.
Asa Chapman, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, family, and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, obviously, I'm born and raised California, Southern California, Murrieta area. I am the third youngest sibling of two. They're both in their 30s. My mom, Anita Chapman, and dad, Ivan Chapman. They're cops, both retired cops. So I grew up in a household where had to do the right things, and so I think I've brought those qualities here for sure. So yeah.
Dallin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I was born and raised in Orem, Utah. Second oldest of 6 kids, 5 boys, 1 girl. With 5 boys, we all play football. We just love football, love sports, and I went to Provo High School. Went to BYU following my mission. I started a 2-year mission.
Where?
In Texas, McAllen. And then following my mission, went to BYU, and I'm here now. So.
Texas, and where at?
Texas, McAllen. It's on the border of Texas. So.
Way down south.
Way down south. Oh, we don't play UTRG anymore, so we're not going to go
that was
to
the local
stomping
school
grounds, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll look at this week's opponent, the University of Idaho. Top 5 team in the country, guys. You ready? Oh, sure. That's when the Lance Anderson Coaches Show comes back.
If you haven't seen Utah Tech University lately, chances are you haven't seen it at all. With hands-on polytechnic learning across 300 academic programs, 30 new and renovated state-of-the-art facilities, the most affordable university tuition in the state, and 300 days of sunshine. Why look anywhere else? Discover why Utah Tech was recently named one of Education Magazine's 10 prominent universities and colleges to watch. Join us and experience the active learning, active life difference at Utah Tech.
All right, welcome back to the Lance Anderson Coaches Show. We're looking ahead to Idaho in one FCS poll. They're 5, another one they're 8, another one they're 10. Doesn't matter what the numbers are. They're a top 10 team. They're good, Coach.
Yeah, they're a good football team, very physical football team. So again, we'll have our hands full again this week, but boy, we are excited about the chance to go on the road and play another good football team.
The Vandals are 1-1. They opened up with a 13-10 loss to Washington State, and then St. Thomas, Minnesota, in Idaho's home opener Saturday. They beat St. Thomas 37-30. So, Asa, when you look at Idaho, I'm sure you looked at some of the tape. St. Thomas ran for over 200 yards on them. So there is that possibility. And, Coach, before we talk about defense, their quarterback, the Big Sky co-offensive player of the week, 96 yards rushing, over 200 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns.
Really big, athletic kid who does run really well. So, yeah, he's a good football player.
Dallin, got another guy that can run and throw it. You ready to nip at those ankles?
Always excited for another challenge.
Or get one face up on the sack, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's go back to you, Asa. When you talk about facing their defense, they did give up over 200 yards rushing. Does that give you anything, or is that just a matchup thing and you can't rely on what you saw there?
I mean, you can't solely rely on that as you watch film, but you can definitely take it into consideration as, okay, I see someone else do it, why can't I? It does give you confidence to be like, okay, let's put the work in this week in practice so we can work on this run game so then we can show the output going forward on Saturday.
Yeah. And Dallin, when you look at their offense, you know, the quarterback obviously, but they've got a guy that can run the ball as well, and their receivers can get downfield quick. They're a quick team. And on that turf in the Kibbe Dome, going to be another challenge for you guys. But it seems like you guys have held up to the challenge that has been given to you every week so far.
I believe we have what it takes as a defense and just as a team in general to be able to compete with anyone. And right now we're just learning to win. You know, Coach is always preaching to us about earning that right to win, and we're learning that. We're learning how to really earn that right to win and what it takes. You know, it's going to take a whole lot of fight, and we're learning to be able to put our head into that fight and stick it in there and stay through all 4 quarters to be able to win that game. So.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you this question, then I'm going to see if your answer is the same. You just touched on it briefly, but Asa Chapman, give us a key to Utah Tech going in and getting an upset win over a top 10 team.
Protecting the ball. I feel like if we can protect the ball and control time of possession, and it just helps our defense out as a whole for offensive side of the ball, we can help our defense by not turning the ball over, being consistent, and just staying to our discipline and fundamentals, and we'll be straight for sure.
Did Saturday's game, especially in the second half and with the running game, did that just up the confidence level a lot more? Because that was a very good defense from Northern Arizona, and the same thing is going to happen with a good defense against Idaho.
Of course, because I feel like we show finally that we can run the ball and that there's going to be confidence in that, and there's going to be more on our play as a running back room and offensive line. But I think that we can handle that and take it full force and produce more than what we want to.
And Dallin Havea, you said that you got to learn how to win, kind of get over the hump, keep going. That's a key, obviously, but how do you accomplish that? What's the one key to get that done?
I think it starts with today. We're going to have practice today, and that's where we got to start. We got to attack every single day with the full effort. And when we do that, we're going to come to the game and attack every play with full effort and dominate our jobs, and that's how we're going to be able to make plays.
All right, Coach, now your answer to the keys. Are they spot on?
Very spot on. I agree with both Asa and Dallin. It does start this week in practice. We've got to earn that right to win this week in practice. We've got to have a great week, playing at a high level with a lot of effort, and that will directly carry over to Saturday.
All right, Saturday afternoon in Moscow. You know, it's Moscow, not Moscow. So we've got to make sure you get that right. And it's the 50th anniversary of the Kibbe Dome. So they're going to have new uniforms and celebrate. So perfect time to spoil a party, huh?
I love doing that.
Okay. All right. Saturday afternoon pregame on Trailblazer Sports Vision and the Fan Sports Radio Network begins at 1. Kickoff at 2 o'clock Utah time. Should be fun, guys. Looking forward to going up there at the Kibbe Dome and playing in another dome 2 weeks in a row.
Let's do it.
All right. Dallin Havea, Asa Chapman, Coach. Thanks. We'll see you Saturday. Utah Tech and the University of Idaho.